Hey everybody, it's Dr. Eric Balkavich. We're back for another edition of Thyroid Thursday, and today we're finishing not finishing, but continuing our discussion on how to improve your thyroid physiology. And this is part 5. We're going to talk about emotional fitness today. These are all things covered in my book with Dr. Kelly Halderman, The Thyroid Debacle. So initially we said in the first of these videos that there's foundational things that everybody's got to do to improve their health, to improve their level of well-being. But these are key things, whether you have a diagnosed health condition or you don't have a diagnosed health condition. These are key foundational things that everybody needs to do to improve their health and state of well-being. So we talked about dietary fitness, we talked about sleep fitness, we talked about respiratory fitness, and today we're going to talk about emotional fitness. So what does this mean, emotional fitness? So let me give you my definition. This is maybe not what you might read if you Google it somewhere else, but this is my definition of emotional fitness, which is the level to which you encounter life experiences and quickly convert them into positive experiences that improve your resilience and adaptability so you can thrive and survive. So we all encounter stress. Some stress is really good stress, some stress is negative stress, we call it distress. And sometimes people want to eliminate all their stress. That's not really a good thing. We still need good and bad stress in our life because that challenges us, makes us hardier, makes us more adaptable, makes us more resilient. So we're all going to experience some negative stressors in our life as well as some positive stressors. The issue really comes down to how do you let those negative experiences impact you? Do they become positive things in your life? Can you quickly experience them and then turn around and somehow learn from them, grow from them, turn them into positive experiences? Or do you dwell on those negative experiences and let them become problematic, create more stress or stress load in your life? They can make a big difference. A lot of times when I talk to people about emotional stress, they'll say, I don't have any stress, I don't have any stress, I don't have any stress. But yet they do, they just don't realize that they do. So let's talk about some indicators of higher emotional fitness and indicators maybe of a lower emotional fitness state. So here we go. People with a higher emotional fitness level typically have more self-awareness, and the people with a lower emotional state, a lower emotional fitness state are more self-absorbed. Okay. People with a higher level of emotional fitness often have more empathy, and people who have a lower state of emotional fitness often have more apathy. I find that people with a higher level of emotional fitness have more curiosity, and people with a lower state of emotional fitness have more indifference. They just don't care about much. They don't care about too many things. Whereas, that person who's really in a better state of mind, curious, want to check things out, want to ask questions, want to kind of see what's going on, see how they can better themselves. Somebody who's got a higher level of emotional fitness is often more focused, more driven, and the person who's got a lower state of emotional fitness is more distracted, hard to keep focused. They easily lose their attention, lose their focus. The people with a higher level of emotional fitness typically more task-oriented, more driven. Somebody with a higher level of emotional fitness, their self-talk is more positive, whereas the person with lower self-esteem, their self-talk is more negative. It's funny, I ask clients often who they talk to most in any given day, and oftentimes they'll say their spouse, their kids, the people at work, when in reality, what the literature seems to show is that we talk to ourselves more than anybody else in any given day. So the question becomes, what are you saying to yourself? Are the words that you're using to talk to yourself, to describe yourself, to feel about yourself, are they more positive or are they more negative? If you're the person you're talking to the most and you're beating yourself up on an ongoing, regular basis, probably not going to be super helpful for you. People who have a higher state of emotional fitness typically are solution focused, and people who have a lower state of emotional fitness, they're more problem focused. So something happens to the person who's more emotionally fit. Okay, that stunk, got hit by a car. What do I got to do to fix the situation? How do I prevent this from occurring again? What can I learn from this experience? versus the person who has maybe a lower state of emotional fitness. Why did this happen to me? How am I going to get to work? This is terrible. What am I going to do? Why did this person do it? And they're really just focused on the problem, okay? And then last, the person with higher emotional fitness often lives in the present. They're living in the now. They're not worried about what happened before. They're not worried about what's going to happen in the future. They're just focused on, hey, what do I got to do now? They may have goals about the future. They may be concerned and learn from things that have happened in the past, but typically they're living in the moment. They're doing and addressing the things that they can handle in the moment. Whereas the person who's got maybe a lower state of emotional fitness, they're dwelling on what happened in the past. They're dwelling on their past relationships and past experiences and past trauma. Or they're really focused on, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to make a decision because I don't know what's going to happen next week or next month or next year. And none of us can really predict those things. So these are all kind of things that I take a look at. These are things that you could look at and say, I have a lot of these things in the blue. I got some work to do, or I resonate with all the things in the black. So maybe you have less to do here. But these are just some of the things that kind of we think about when we think about what's somebody's emotional fitness like. But definitely the person who's in a higher state of emotional fitness is going to be healthier overall. Why? When you're in a higher state of emotional fitness, these life experiences affect you negatively less. There's less addition to your stress load that actually that can trigger that cell stress or cell danger response, versus the person who's got a poor emotional fitness in a lower state of emotional health. They're more likely to be activating their sympathetic nervous system, pushing that cell stress response, and they're going to be more in a sympathetic dominant state. So think about these things. Consider whether there's certain things here that you could work on to improve your emotional fitness. Maybe you're not as emotionally healthy as you could be. So start working on those things. They're fairly free to work on. A couple things that are important. How can you assess your emotional state? Well, it's tough. There's some things you can do, but a great tool to kind of get a gauge of where you are physiologically and how emotional stress may play a role is something called your HRV, heart rate variability. And when you measure heart rate variability, if your heart rate variability is very low, you're typically in a lower state of health. If you have a higher heart rate variability, you're in a higher state of health. So if you have an Apple Watch, a BioStrap, an Oura Ring, maybe a Whoop strap, something like that, something that measures HRV, you can look at your HRV and see, do you trend low? Do you trend pretty high? If you're trending pretty high, you're probably in a state of your higher state of emotional fitness. But if you're trending low, it's probably something you want to work on. As you work on some of the things to improve your emotional health, you should see a rise in your HRV. So that's one tool. There's a whole bunch of them, but this is one. What are some things you can do to improve your emotional physiology, emotional health, your emotional fitness? These are just a couple things, but definitely meditation is one of those things that can really help you improve your emotional well-being. It's not easy to do. It's not necessarily fun for everybody, but it is. Meditation is one of the things that people use it for years to help their emotional fitness. Breath work. We talked about that in the last episode of this things you can do to improve your thyroid physiology. We talked about it in the respiratory fitness area, but breath work is key. And there are things like heart math that can really help you use your breathing to calm your sympathetic nervous system down. Journaling, just writing out all the stuff that's going on in your head, in your brain, in your mind can really be a helpful tool. Do you have to go back and read it? Does it have to make a lot of sense? Not really. Just get all the stuff that's in your head that's clogging up space, put it down on paper. Another thing is what I call 30-30-30. 30% of the time, hang out with people who are doing better than you. Why? Because it helps kind of inspire you to what you can maybe do more of or do better. And there's what people have already achieved, maybe the success you want, maybe they can help pull you along. 30% of the time, spend with those in your circle, and then 30% of the time, help people who are worse off than you, because you can bring them up, makes you feel good. Here's just some of the tips you can find in the Thyroid Debacle